mentira, ¿no? Lo de que no hay patria. Socialismo y muerte, que es gracia. Mira la cola.
And this videos and pictures depicted the people of Venezuela waiting in line for 9 or 10 hours to buy most basic things like milk, diapers, other basic everyday food products, including things like shampoo to take a shower. There are reports of some people waiting in line or looking around for 2 days just to buy diapers. So I decided to go to the polar opposite of that situation, which was Costco, one of the largest wholesale stores. I asked them to look at the videos and the pictures I just received from Venezuela, and I asked them to give me their opinion. Caracas taken 3 days ago.
Okay.
All this is happening because of oil prices have dropped so low that the government is not able to longer buy food and supply.
And this is a line for milk?
For milk, diapers,
right, what's your questions? Let's go.
So, are you surprised that they haven't seen it on CNN, NBC?
Yeah, it's ridiculous that you haven't seen more of it. This is humanitarian shame.
Yeah, country very close to us.
Obviously, as
You know what? There's so much other news going on in France, in Syria, wherever. It's just they're all competing for our attention.
but I mean,
We tend to forget Venezuela.
it is a tragedy what happened in France, but
Not like this.
yeah, that's a friend from Venezuela. We met here in the university when she was studying. Her dad runs a business, so he was able to go out of the country with a business visa, which the only visas that Venezuela is giving. The only thing he asked from her father is to get her some shampoo so she can take showers.
No kidding.
So, unfortunately, Venezuela it's restricting it very, very hard. Most of the pictures, the people that took it could have gone to jail for it.
Yeah, they saw that going on too.
So-
yeah.
Well, thank you guys for your opinion, and I just want to see you guys seem
God
very
bless,
important.
God bless Venezuela.
Hopefully, you were impacted as much as I was with these images. This is in no way an attack or criticism on Venezuela's government. This is just to show America and the world what the other side of oil prices dropping. We enjoy low prices here in the United States, but unfortunately there is a negative side to low oil prices. So please repost, retweet, send this to everyone just to know that this oil drop is affecting hundreds of thousands of people. Please help out the people of Venezuela, and God bless Venezuela and God bless America.
Hello, welcome back to FT Markets. Bondholders in Venezuela have been getting alarmed over the past few weeks at scenes of lengthening queues outside the country's supermarkets and groceries, as Venezuelans find it increasingly hard not only to get hold of staples like milk and toilet paper and nappies and other daily items, they can't even get through the supermarket doors. The police and the army have been called out, and in some cases preventing people from getting in after they've been queuing for hours on end. The worry for bondholders is that with so many shortages in the country and the economy running out of cash, that the government might dedicate its scarce resources to solving that problem instead of to paying off the country's debts. Now, joining me to discuss this and what's going on is Russ Dallin, who's a well-known commentator on Venezuela. He's head of Caracas Capital Markets, an investment bank, and he's also publisher of the Latin American Herald Tribune. Russ, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jonathan.
Russ, Venezuelans are used to these shortages, but before we get on to what it means for the government, what's it like for Venezuelans at the moment?
Well, it's exactly the opposite. In fact, Venezuelans are not used to shortages. They've always been told that they're a rich country. They've always felt very special as the largest oil reserves in the world, and this is all a bit of a shock to the system for them.
Surely they've been running out of milk for ages, haven't they? Is it that it's come to a point now?
Yes, it is worsened tremendously over the last couple of years. Milk had always been in short supply over the last few years, as had everything from diapers to toilet paper. But now the opposition has taken a very aggressive role in letting people know that it's not just their neighborhood supermarket that doesn't have nappies. It's all over the country by launching a hashtag campaign, basically, to put up pictures of the shelves that are bare in your own supermarket. So much so that the government has tried to ban taking pictures now of the lines and also the empty shelves.
We've got a chart here that shows what's been happening to Venezuelan imports. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, what this seems to show is that Venezuela has become increasingly import dependent, but recently it seems that Venezuela has not been able to afford the imports it needs. Is that the correct interpretation?
You hit the nail on the head, Jonathan. It's basically a shortage of funds because of several failures of the Chavez and now Maduro policies, One that decimated the domestic production sector by expropriating, nationalizing, and running exchange rates that made it inefficient for local producers and to produce because they couldn't compete with the overvalued exchange rate. At the same time, Chavez expropriated everything from coffee companies to oil companies and left production in the tubes down in the dumps for all of those factors.
Right. Now, what the other chart we've got here, our second chart, shows what's been happening to the popularity ratings of Nicolas Maduro, Chavez's successor, who's been in power for about a year now. This strikes me as really quite unusual because Chavez, even when the economy was going wrong, managed to stay popular. Now Maduro's rejection rate is up in the 70s, his approval rate is down towards just over 20%. Is this changing things and changing the outlook?
Very much so. Maduro is coming back from his 10-day trip, whirlwind trip around the world trying to raise money or oil prices, neither of which he seems to have been successful on. His popularity is down around 22%, and people are calling for his resignation.
And how much of a pressure is that? And going back to what we said at the beginning, how much pressure is it putting on Venezuela's ability to pay its bondholders?
Well, there are two things going on there, and both of them are causing problems for the government. They have about $11 billion in debt payments this year on their foreign debt bonds. But as you have pointed out in the FT, the amount of money that they're raising from oil at $42 a barrel today for Venezuela means that they're only really producing about $63 million a day, or $23 billion a year. That's not enough to run a whole country, much less pay half of that to your debt. And you know, as you saw from the chart that you were just showing, that imports are about between $36 and $44 billion a year. $23 billion is not going to cut it.
Right. We've got non-oil imports in the chart, about 30, but I mean, it is a real squeeze. He has, as you say, been traveling the world and trying to get OPEC or other oil exporters to reach agreement. Can he turn to China?
China has loaned Venezuela $50 billion so far. They have believed in Venezuela. They were a very good friend to Hugo Chavez. They have been a little bit standoffish with Maduro, although Xi Jinping did come last year and visit in Caracas on his South American tour. Maduro has stated that he has $20 billion in investments from the Chinese as a result of his trip, but as yet we haven't seen any of those details.
Thanks a lot, Russ. So plenty of uncertainty still in Venezuela, plenty of uncertainty about where it's going to get the money to cover its commitments and how it's going to dedicate what resources it has. Plenty more on this on FT.com and on Beyond BRICS, our emerging markets blog.